So hi everyone. This is me. I'm Tanvir. I've been working in IT industry from past 9 years with experience across DevOps, Cloud, SRE. I've been working with various clients. Worked with Flipkart, Morgan Stanley, and now I've been working from past 3 years in Volvo Cars. So I've worked in various tools along my journey. Right now, my role is kind of an SRE. So that is my brief introduction. I'm from Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada. So the target audience for this course would be a DevOps and platform engineer and cloud engineers, system admins and developers, and anyone preparing for cloud native computing foundation certifications. So before I start, I just want to know how many of you are starting as freshers, upskilling for career growth, or switching careers from one role to another, and maybe resuming after a career back, or someone has taken a break, maybe for any reason, and then they're idle, and then they're starting again with this upskilling themselves and then trying to get this job. So yeah, how many can I see? I think you can type in chat maybe.
Gokul Rajan says he's upskilling for career growth. Yeah. And Kiran says career switch. Lokesh, Joshua, Anita, all career switch. Krishna resuming career grab. Jita, Abhishek switching company. Yeah,
Nice.
Mostly upskilling and career switch. That's what I see. Yeah.
Nice. So we don't have any freshers or any what is this? No one is resuming after a career gap, I see. Okay, cool.
I think few are resuming after career gap as well, but they also
Nice.
have an experience as well, I guess. Yeah, CTC, very good. Yeah. Looking for a better CTC.
Yeah,
Of
that
course.
is a good motivation. Yeah.
Yep, I think we got the intention. Yeah, basically for a career switch who is already having experience. So looks like that's the target audience. Majorly we can take it. And also career gap also, I think they should be having some experience. So yeah, I think 80-90% of the audience are looking for a better career opportunities, which is aligned. Yeah.
Nice. So what is our goal in this course? So we are trying to we will try to understand the real-time tasks, okay? To understand how tools are used at each level and be interview ready by the end of the course. So as we have seen, most of the people will come and join the course by just hearing, that this is a growing industry, offers some good salaries. That those are nice motivations. That is how we should make a career choices. But most of the people might not have an idea, what task it looks like, what kind of tasks we would be getting into, what kind of life and work balance it would be, and how their typical Tuesday looks like, what kind of tasks they would be having once they are getting into the role. So I'll try to give those kind of scenarios while I teach in the course, and also I've also reflect my experience where when I also joined first as an one course and then made my switch into the DevOps. I was not a DevOps engineer initially. I was in manual testing, and then I made a switch here. Then I've been working since then into these various roles. So I will reflect on that. I'll see where what mistakes I have done, so that I should get an interview soon, and then what kind of guidance I should have gotten. So I would try to include those things in my course. So yeah, once I feel once they have joined once they go through the course, by the end of the course, I think the people should be able to connect all the dots. They have, what happens is when I joined the course, I learned, even though I learned all the tools one by one, I have practiced each command multiple times and then know how each tool works. But once the course is complete, and until unless I have not done some sample projects, I didn't know how all these tools work together. So my idea is to make sure to incorporate that from the beginning. Okay, this is how this tool is used. This is where we use these tools and all. So, and then of course I would be giving a lot of interview questions in each course. I have a GitHub notes, GitHub lab. In GitHub repository, I have created notes and lab. So I would suggest students not to focus much on taking notes because I will give it in already in the notes, and then you can copy those notes and then modify it accordingly. So the intention is you should focus fully on the course, since this is a SRE and I will be starting from the basic. So there we have a lot of topics to cover. So whatever you have to make sure that you're attentive in this course and then listening, trying to grasp at the first go. And I'm happy to repeat again and again. Whoever has any doubts, please stop me there and then ask me any questions. I'm happy to answer those. But yeah, we have a lot to cover. And then you can always have the notes with you. I'll try to share beforehand, and then once you have that, and then I will give the lab, and then I'll also give interview questions as well. And then once that is done, I think in next classes I'll try to ask those questions what we have done in the previous class, and then maybe I'll take names, and then so that people will go through the course over the week. So yeah, that is our intention in this course. So yeah, before we start, we should understand, how DevOps came into picture. I will start with DevOps. SRE is an advanced topic based on building on DevOps. Okay, so first we have to understand what is DevOps. So what happens is before we had an issue where the developers used to build their code and then they deploy their application into the servers. And then that is one team where we have developers team where whole job is to build the code and then push the commit, push the code to the repositories. And then there is an operations team where their whole job is to make sure they deploy their code into the servers, and then it works fine. Whatever code that has worked well for developers in their local machines, it has to work well once they deploy in the servers as well. But they faced many issues. So in between, they say because of many misconfigurations and maybe version mismanagement and incompatibility issues, and it is maybe the resource expectations is not right. So those kind of issues occur, and then so a guy named Patrick Debois, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but yeah, he had a talk about this thing. So he that problems he's trying to solve, and the frustration is universal. It's across all companies. So it became a thing. It was so this DevOps came into picture. So the DevOps role is a bridge between developer and operations teams. Like I said, whatever developer has built in his code and ran in his local machine, which is working in this local machine, the DevOps engineer should be able to deploy the same code and same build into the clusters and cloud services without any configuration mismanagement. It has to be scalable. It has to be highly available. It has to be it has to perform well without any latencies. So those things. So he has to bridge the gap between those two. We have to make sure we have to automate the application deployment with no breaking changes. So we have to, as a DevOps engineer and SRE engineer, we have to think in terms of process improvement, collaboration, and automation. Okay. So what happened before DevOps and all these things? With this, there was two types we have: how we publish our code, how we release the application, and all. So before how DevOps came into picture is mostly because of agile methodology. Before we had a waterfall methodology, okay, where we will discuss what is the requirement of the application. Okay, we'll sit together, all the developers, and then see, okay, what we are trying to build and what are the requirements, and then we analyze it, and then we design it, and then we code it with the help of developers, and then once it is tested with the testing engineers, and then the operation guys come into picture, and then we deploy it, and then the application is live, and then they will have a feedback or whatever it is, like if the application is working or if the application is lacking in some format. Maybe it is glitching, maybe it is got stuck, maybe it is freezing, or maybe the particular feature is not working as expected. So those kind of things used to happen before, and then they used to do maintenance after that. But in agile methodology, it is not before it used to take a lot of time, like for example 6 months, 1 year, maybe 18 months, like that. But agile methodology changed that. Here, instead of doing all this once and then releasing at the end, so what we do is, first we will design one application basics first, and then we release it. And once that is released, and then we will again we again sit and then design. We will plan what new feature we should include in the next release, and then we again design, we develop, and then we test it, we release it. So it is continuous cycle. Okay, so which used to, the releases which used to happen, once in 6 months and 1 year. Now we are having releases every week or couple of weeks. Okay, so for example, I can take maybe let's say I can take an example of maybe Ola, maybe where instead of releasing creating an application, once they have created an application and then releasing in whole India, they will go cycle by cycle, right? They will target one state first. Maybe they will start with one city. Maybe they'll start with NCR, maybe Bangalore, and then once they have able to serve that well, and then they will repeat the cycle in same. And then they'll get some data from the Mumbai, and then get the maps, incorporate it, and then register the taxi the drivers and all. So they will repeat the same cycle again and again. So area by area. So. And I'm just giving an example. This is how they will try to release their application in every week or every couple of weeks. And you might have seen you are using many applications, and you might see features coming time to time. So this methodology is behind that. And then what happened is before operations had time. Okay, before, when these guys are taking a lot of time to deploy it, they had expectations properly. They know what kind of resource management they need, how many resources and how many servers they need, and so they have a lot of time to plan and deploy. Okay, things used to break that time as well, but at least they had some good idea how to make sure how to deploy it properly and all. But here the resources expectations is varies week by week. Okay, by release. So we cannot just try old way of things, where we just deploy our application into servers and check. We have to automate it. We have to make sure we are testing it while trying to deploy the application itself with the CI/CD pipelines and all. And then the deployment also, we have to automate it with the pipelines, maybe Argo CD or with GitOps fashion, or maybe any CI/CD tools and all. So am I clear till now, or am I going fast, or how it is?
Yeah, hi, Tanvir, it is clear. You're going for speaking too fast, but it is understandable. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I speak a little faster, so yeah, I'll take that feedback. Okay. So yeah, DevOps workflow would look like this, where a developer will push the code to the GitHub, and then once he pushes the code, we will have a CI/CD pipeline where whatever code that has been pushed will be picked up by the CI/CD pipeline from GitHub. And then once that has been there in CI/CD, it comes into CI/CD. We will try to incorporate one testing as well with SonarQube with one of the steps. To test the code, and then once we have done that, we will try to deploy that code in the Docker file, and then create a Docker image out of it, and then push it to Docker registry. Is my cursor visible?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay, maybe I can use this. So they can deploy, create a Docker image out of it, and then push it to Docker registry. Once that is done, they can deploy it in the Kubernetes. So we have in Kubernetes, we have files how to like for example, we define the resource limits and all, and then we'll say okay, pull this particular specific image from this Docker from this Docker registry. Once that is done, the application is deployed in Kubernetes. We would be able to see the application live and then see how is the application working as expected or not. And we do that in a couple of environments, maybe dev and QA or staging. And then if it works well, then we will take it to production. Is this clear? I will explain later. I'm just giving just brief overview how this DevOps workflow works. Okay. So before we go into SRE course, we have a lot of doubts on DevOps and SRE, and there are many terms flowing around in market, which is overlapping. Well, like for example, we have DevOps, we have a DevOps role, we have an SRE role, we have a platform engineering, we have a cloud engineering. So all this skill set overlaps onto each other, and it is not very clear what each role actually does and what each role responsibilities are. So it's important to understand what roles we have in this particular skill sets, and then how we can advance into each other, and then what course we are trying. Right now, what we are trying to learn and what role we are targeting. So we should be clear on this. So I believe there is some confusion on DevOps, SRE, and platform engineering and this thing. What is this? A cloud engineer. So DevOps, like I said, this would be DevOps, okay, where the guy is responsible to automate this. His responsible is to automate it, collaborate it to improve the processes, and then to have a close understanding with the developers, and then trying to deploy this application. He is responsible from end to end. Okay, once from here to here, he is responsible. Where once the application is the code is pushed to the Git from the, and then once that is deployed to the application, deploy the application into production, he's responsible. Whether if it breaks in at any step, whether it's in CI/CD pipelines, or whether it is not able to create a Docker image out of it, maybe some issues with Docker file, maybe some issues with unable to pull that particular Docker image into Kubernetes, or maybe once that is deployed, the application is up and running, but it is not accessible. Maybe the application is is crashing, maybe. So those kind of things, this guy is everywhere, the DevOps role person. But SRE, he is here. Okay, once the application is deployed, once the application is up and running in a production, his main role is to make sure it is available all the time. Okay, and like for example, even though he has to plan in such a way that that even if the traffic is high, if the traffic is low, the resources are using efficiently without any wastage, or maybe without any crash. And then if there is he has to plan for disaster recoveries regions. If one region is down and the other region is up, is not running, so he has to make sure he has to have some backup plans. Let's say if some Indian clusters has failed, and then how to move it to Singapore, so he should be preparing the strategies. Okay, once this Mumbai cluster is done, okay, he has to he has to set up in Singapore, and then he should have some framework beforehand itself to make to accommodate that. So he would be worrying about how to keep the production running. Okay, how to keep the boat sailing. Okay, till you get all the stuff, you have deployed the application and all these things. You have created a CI/CD pipelines. You have pushed a Docker image to the Docker registry, and then pulled it into the AKS clusters. And then if the application is up and running, these things, DevOps engineer would be mainly there. And SRE has to have those knowledge as well. It is not like independent. He has to have knowledge on all these things from the start. So SRE and cloud and these things. A platform are built based upon the DevOps. Okay, first is a DevOps engineer, so he has to have this skill set for any of these things. So for this role, we are targeting SRE. First, we will cover the DevOps tools. We will cover all the DevOps tools from the start. We will start from the Linux, and then I will discuss more on the curriculum next. So from this basic, we'll cover all the DevOps tools, and based on top of that, we will try to cover SRE tools. And then, so by end of the course, you would be comfortable in SRE role. Okay. So yeah, he has to make sure the application is up and running all the times. Okay, that is one aspect. And the other one is performance. The application is up and running, but it is slow. Okay, and it is sometimes it is not responsive. So he has to find ways, why it is. He has to debug it. He has to make sure why the application is not responsive for particular amount of particular time, for particular specific times, and maybe it is not taking a lot of time than expected. So these kind of things, these performance issues has to be taken care by SRE as well. So he will be looking into different different solutions, like what should I do from a load balancing point of view, from Azure load balancer, Azure front door. So these kind of things, how to use cache to improve the latency, to reduce the latency and improve the network performance, and how to make application working well and performs well. So that is another aspect of an SRE. So we will learn those as well. And the third aspect is monitoring. Here, let's say he has to know before these things happen. Before the cluster is down. Maybe if the cluster is down, he has to know immediately, right? And let's say if the application is not performing well, okay, like for example, it is taking a lot of time and it is not available for some couple of minutes. Okay, if not complete orders, maybe it has been done for a couple of minutes at some specific times. So he has to monitor those things. So he would add, he make use of some tools called Grafana, Prometheus, and Alert Manager, where he can get some alerts, and then how he can monitor this continuously 24/7. He has to be on call on this thing. Okay, he is responsible 24/7. The expectation is, you have to be on call all the time. If the application failed for 3 o'clock in the midnight, he has to be, there would be a setup where he will, in monitoring, I think some people use the pager duty, where the user will, where the SRE person will get the call in to his mobile, saying, this application failed because of this issue, and he has to take this call, he has to acknowledge it, and then he has to open his laptop and then try to fix it. So he has to be ready to be on call 24/7, but it's not like it happens every now and then. It's a rare case scenario. If you are working, if you have set up your application well with these two things, I think we should not get those kind of outages soon. And then we have to monitor it. Before these outages happen, the SRE role has to make sure these things doesn't happen at all. Okay. So that is a preparation aspect as well. Okay, and let's say if it failed, okay, if it failed and for any reason, so the SRE has to do some blameless postmortem, they say, where he has to take all the details of the incident, what has failed, what caused the issue, and how should we resolve this, and then how should we improve the process to accommodate these things, to accommodate these outages, so that even the outages happen in future, it should be taken care automatically, or maybe we have to be informed before, and so that we can fix it manually. So either so those kind of analysis has to be done. So this is called incident response. Okay. So, and based on this details he gets, based on the data he collects from here, he try to prepare for the next period of time where it doesn't happen again and again. So this is a role of an SRE, where he has to maintain the availability of the application, the performance of the application, to monitor the application all the time. And then if something goes wrong, he has to get the alerts. And then if something failed, there is an instant response to collect the data, and then and make sure that these things doesn't happen in the future. That is a role of an SRE, and that is what we're trying to learn in this course. And to know all these things, DevOps is mandatory. DevOps tools are mandatory. Based on DevOps tools, he will. This is an advanced topic. Okay, he's responsible for production uptime. So it is, of course, the salaries are high compared to DevOps, and then job. It is interesting as well, where you have a lot of issues to debug and time to time, and then make sure the applications are up and running. So this is the difference between DevOps and SRE. Am I clear till now? Or do you have any doubts?
It's clear, Tanvir.
Okay. Am I going fast again, or should I slow a bit?
No, all good.
Okay, cool. So once we understand what is DevOps and SRE, I think cloud engineer would not be very difficult to understand. Let's say if the guy is mostly in all these applications, or we are not deploying in on-premises, right? I think more at least apart from some sensitive data, which has for large corporations, where they don't want to keep in cloud, maybe they don't for latency reasons, or maybe for sensitive for security reasons, they want to, or for regulation reasons, they are keeping on-premises. But otherwise, most of the companies are deploying their applications in cloud. Okay. See, all this thing happens in cloud in this part, okay, where we need a lot of cloud tools. Like for example, we have to learn virtual networks, virtual machines, Kubernetes clusters deployed in any cloud like GCP, Azure, and AWS, and of course the application teams need databases, storage solutions as well, and how to load balance it, and how to limit the policies, how to make sure that the cloud services are talking to each other, and how we are talking to the cloud services. Okay, so all those kind of things. If the guy is specialized in this role, then he would be called cloud engineer. So DevOps has all these things. Okay, it's just that where you are specialized. If you are more onto production uptime, then you are called SRE engineer. If you are more into cloud platform, where you are trying to working on Terraform, working on Crossplane, working on some in AWS and Azure had their own code. So, and creating ad hoc requests from the developers, where you need some virtual machine, where you need some database, and then add some things in firewall. So those kind of things, is the main the roles and responsibilities of the cloud engineer. We will cover cloud in this course as well. We have taken AWS, which has largest market share in the companies. Right now, Azure is also catching up pretty quickly. But yeah, we'll start with AWS, and then let's see. And the last one is platform engineering. This one you might have heard. So this is, let's say, the user, we have a lot of users, okay? If it is a small team, let's say if we have only 10, 15 developer teams, and then there would be some few DevOps engineers, okay? Where the user is, if the guy is stuck, if the developer is stuck at any stage, okay? If he's stuck at GitHub issues, maybe pipeline issues, maybe from Docker, if it is Docker file is not right, configuration is mismanaged. Maybe it has been deployed in the Kubernetes, but it is not able to take that image properly. Maybe it is not, even though the application is up, but it is restarting again and again. Okay, so every time there is an issue in this cycle, in this workflow, he would contact DevOps engineer. Okay, and then let's say if he wants to create a namespace. Okay, he wants to create a namespace where he can deploy his application. This is my team. This is my team members, and then we want to deploy. We want to take one separate namespace. Maybe we want to deploy in separate cluster itself, and then we want to have databases specifically for our team, and those kind of things. And those kind of things has to be accommodated by DevOps engineer. That works fine for small scale industry companies. Let's say we have large corporations, for example, Flipkart, Volvo, and Morgan Stanley. Take any. So they don't have 10 engineers, 10 teams, maybe 5 teams like that. They would have 400 teams, maybe 300 teams, and all of them require, their separate namespaces, they separate the databases requests, their firewall requests, everything. Okay, whatever there is in the flow, they require DevOps engineer for that. And we are not we are not hiring a lot of DevOps engineers to accommodate this. What we are doing is, industry is doing is, they have created a solution where they will make their developer life easy by creating some UI platform, mostly in Backstage, where they create, okay, if you can if you can navigate this UI portal where you can order namespace, you can select which cluster and those kind of things, and you can have your namespace without the intervention, without the help of DevOps. So instead of you have to create tickets, you have to wait for tickets, ticket for the ticket, you have to raise a ticket for a namespace, and then the ticket has to be reviewed and then approved, and then once approved, it has to be taken care, and there would be a pipeline, right? And the team would be waiting for a lot of time just to deploy their application. Their application is ready to test. Okay. Their application is ready to test, but to deploy, they need the infrastructure from DevOps side. So what if then they would be wasting their time, right? If there are not enough engineers, if DevOps has a lot of tickets in their pipeline. So this is where platform engineers come into the picture and solve this issue. They will create a Backstage, or maybe they will create some internal developer platform where to say the developers, okay, this is your portal. You can this is how you can order a namespace. You can order you can order maybe some database. Let's say if you want to order a Postgres, you have to this is how you have to navigate to this portal. Okay, they will create some tools specific to company internally, and then they give those platform to the developers, and then these developers will be able to provision the namespaces and provision the databases, maybe open the firewall all by themselves because of these tools, which has been created by platform engineer. So that so instead of DevOps engineer attending each request of this repeatable tasks, okay, of 400 teams, he can worry about which one is failing, okay, which one is which developer team needs help, which application is restarting again and again. So he can work there. So a lot of this thing is automated with the help of platform engineering. So this is the difference between DevOps engineer. So even platform engineer should have a knowledge of DevOps as well. It builds on top of it. So that is DevOps is like consider it as a starting role. Maybe, and then on top of it, you build an SRE. And if you are mostly focusing on the cloud aspect, you are a cloud. You will be called cloud engineer. You will have a cloud team specifically for this. And then if you are, once you are good at this, and then you can enter into platform engineering as well. And that is a whole different course. Maybe we can do some other bootcamp. But here right now, we are our target is to learn SRE topics. Okay. So, but we have to understand what these specific roles coming out of the DevOps engineer, because we have seen this a lot of times, and it is very confusing. So, I'm hoping that this is a little bit clear for you. Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So in this course, obviously, we will have every class will have the mandatory lab session. I'll explain the theory first. About for example, if I'm taking Kubernetes, I'll explain what is pod, and then I will not just explain theory. I will show that how to deploy it, how to create a pod with files, and how to configure those manifest files in the class. And then once you can learn it, and then that once that is covered, you can go to home, and then over a week you can learn this. So I would cover theory and practical. So we have to learn, implement, and then let's say if something breaks down, we will troubleshoot and troubleshoot it, and then deploy it. Okay. So I would be trying to bring a lot of scenarios that I have learned over my career, and then see, okay, my intention is once you learn this course, you should not be going to an interview with a blank slate where you say, okay, you in interview as well, you will not be having if the role is asking for less than 4 years or maybe less than 3 years of DevOps experience also, they will not be asking you difficult critical scenarios as well. They might test you on whether you know these tools or not. So it is important to know the tools, but if you are not very sure what kind of tasks you would be working on, how these tools interact with each other, how you can make use of these tools in this workflow, then you would not be very confident. So my goal is to make sure you will be little confident, okay, in how you will have some experience. Also you should have some problem statements as well, where you might be, if you have gone to many interviews, there would be one question, what is the problem you have faced in your last company and how you have fixed it. So it's better to have some kind of instead of giving some basic examples where the pod failed or maybe the pod has restarted, you should have some kind of a little more than that, and then you can explain that. Then it would say, okay, the guy knows his work. So those kind of details you would need before you get into interview. So I would add more and more in the duration of this course. So yeah, if I think I'll once I share this curriculum, we'll go through the curriculum. If you feel any tool is missing from this curriculum, and then you feel this also is needed, then you can suggest, and I can try to cover that as well. Okay. And of course, I'm talking about mock interview questions as well. So that would be our course learning approach. Prerequisites. Prerequisites, I think you, as you see in the screen, you need any Windows machine or Mac machine, and then WSL Ubuntu has to be configured. And then you have to install Git and all. I have just pasted it for just some prerequisites that I can think of, but you don't have to worry much on this. Once you have a machine, a Windows machine and WSL enabled, that is sorted for you. We can obviously have install these things. Over the course, I will tell you how to install each package, each tool in your machine, in your local machine. I will give you that notes as well. I will try to give that notes as well. Yeah. So what kind of topics we are covering in this course? We are covering Linux basics that we will be starting from there. Then Git, Docker, Kubernetes. Till now, these are mostly into DevOps and all. Then we would cover observability, SRE topics, SRE core topics, and then we will learn some services in cloud engineer. Cloud. In cloud platform, like for example, we are using AWS, so we will learn some services as well, what it does, how to provision it, how to troubleshoot it, those kind of things. So we have, I think, like Shubham said, this course is in the duration of 3.5 months.
Sorry, Tanvir, Anirudh here. Sorry to interrupt. Before proceeding ahead, the topics I just need to understand. So you are clearly saying about the AWS. So only we are going to cover about the AWS. So is it a changeable? So we can cover some GCP as well. Because I can see the reason I'm asking you, Tanvir, is this. In only code corridors, I learn AWS itself. Okay, because in every bootcamp of this code.
Am I audible? I think I've lost. I'm not sure if there is an issue from my end or. Hello?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, Aniruddha, I think issue from his side. Let's wait. Maybe he will join back.
Kind of for me, I'm not sure about the others.
Hi. Yeah. Okay.
Just one question. I think Shubham is also here. Basically, in every boot camp that is provided by the code corridors, or every the classes or batches they are running at, So they are mainly focused onto the AWS. So this is only for, I'm talking about myself, okay, not about the others. I actually learn AWS here only into the code cutters, okay. So, but in a repetitive task, it is like for me to, I'm learning again and again and again the same stuff, okay. So if it is possible to, we have switch it to the GCP or maybe Azure. In that case, that will be easy for me, feasible for me. I'm not sure about the others. Others can have their views as well. But
Definitely.
what do you think?
What I think is, this curriculum has already designed, and then maybe we have to I think there are a lot of people we have, and we have to discuss, which one, whether they are okay with AWS, or everyone, majority of the one at least, want to have another, another cloud platform. If majority of them agrees, then of course we can make changes. But if majority of the people doesn't have any cloud background, then I'm afraid I'm not sure I can. Again, you have to at least 2 cloud, which will help. But isn't it confusing? I can do that, but yeah, we can
I
see.
would like to add one more thing here, Tanveer. So
Yes.
it's good that we can cover multiple clouds as well. That's not an issue. But the thing is, the intention of SRE is not about the cloud itself. So if you see the agenda clearly, so we are not focusing on any specific cloud in that case. So it all it all based on the SRE bootcamp, right? So probably what we can do, we can bootstrap with one cloud, but you can also bring your own GCP account, and then you can do it. So I think there is no harm in trying another cloud. So that should not be a problem. So all that we are going to tell is the generic use cases, and also the labs also should cover the generic use case. So you should be able to use GCP as well, or Azure as well. So yeah, that should be pretty straightforward. It is not a difficult thing to cover. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, understood.
But it's not that we are covering all of the cloud services here. So just to be sure there, because we are targeting specifically SRE.
Yes.
And I think these people, some of you are already familiar with Kubernetes and Docker. So we still touch base there, but not entirely into Kubernetes and Docker areas as well. So it's completely for SRE. Yes, Ari, you have a question, right?
So yeah, I have attended SRE role interview on January month. The thing is like everyone is asking for GCP instead of AWS. I'm not sure why like that. Is there any specific reason? Or
I don't think there is specific thing about cloud. So they should be able to take you if you are equivalent in other clouds as well. So I don't think there is a specific need for GCP to be sure. But if you are well versed in AWS or Azure or even GCP, so they can cross skill and then they can take you. That should not be an issue. So all that you'll have to know it. That's the thing. Yeah, Ashwini. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to like ask one thing. Like, see, that's good that we are just doing it on AWS itself. Like any of the services that we're going to use is from AWS. My suggestion would be like if you can just tell us like what is the relevant type of service that is available in Azure or GCP, because that is something like they ask in interview with us, like, okay, what is the same kind of service that we have in the other cloud platform. So that just helps, like if we are not using it directly, but having an understanding, okay, what is that kind of service, the similar service that we have in the other cloud platforms will help.
Yeah, that should be pretty much easier to say it. Definitely, yes. So if we say S3, we have to say Azure blob. Yeah, so that should not be an issue, I guess. So we can specifically call out for relevant services when we are covering. So that's pretty much straightforward. Not an issue at that point. Yeah.
Any other questions we have before we discuss curriculum?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay. like I was saying, we have designed this course weekend classes. In each week, we will be targeting some specific topics. Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. To 12:30. I'm targeting maybe 1.5 hours. Maybe it might go soon, or maybe little soon, maybe little late as well. My target is not to to cover to make you understand whatever I have in my agenda for that day, and the depth I'm trying to cover and questions I've been taking. So based on that, the duration would be like this, but it would be around the 1.5 hour. That is how I'm keeping, or maybe 2 hours. So let's see. I have designed this course for curriculum on segregated this course week by week. We would be starting from this next week on Linux. On first week, we would be covering Linux basics. Okay, like for example, we have it is absolutely necessary to learn Linux, to have Linux. How many of you have some kind of hands-on or maybe some knowledge in Linux? Okay. So right now I have to understand whether I should go fast on this, or maybe should I cover properly. Anyways, my agenda is not to cover a whole Linux aspect, because Linux administration is okay. Swati, got it. So my agenda is not to cover whole Linux topics. It's Linux itself is a different role, and we have a separate role for this. We have separate course for it. But I would be looking Linux from SRE point of view. Okay, even though if you don't have any knowledge, okay, if you, we have to make. I will make sure that whatever commands that you need, whatever Linux basics you need from the SRE point of view, I would try to cover. I'm trying to cover that. Okay. So for example, if some there is some users groups and file permissions, I have added that, but I would not cover very in depth, because I will just give you an idea. Because in SRE, I have till now have not used this concept where I create users, I create groups, and then I send permissions to these groups. People who have some Linux knowledge, they might understand this. So I will just go over very quickly, and also and people who have absolutely no who doesn't have any knowledge on Linux, they should be comfortable enough while working with SRE topics. Okay, from the DevOps and SRE topics. So it would be like this. It doesn't go in depth in the Linux administration point of view. It will not go very basic, where people with no Linux background doesn't understand. So that is where I'm trying to find a balance in this course. In this Linux topic. And anyone who said who doesn't have any Linux background, they should be okay. So here I will cover these topics, like for example, why Linux, why are we using why do we have to learn Linux? First, for everything, we have to have these questions: why, what, and when. These kind of questions. How? So we will try to understand each. Why are we using this? How we are using this? What exactly we have to used for? So those kind of questions we will cover for each topic. For Linux file systems, directory hierarchy, I will start from basic, absolutely basic, from LS to, and then cron to cron jobs. Okay, where you can configure a cron job where you can take backups regularly. So I said from SRE point of view, this is very important to learn. This is more I have so there are a few topics that I've mostly used day to day, but I have included some topics to understand from Linux point of view. So that is what I'm covering. Package management, obviously, you need this to install various packages you need for SRE tools, and file compression and archival, you need it for example, you need to take backups of many database storages. Okay. How do you transfer from one machine to another machine, and how do you manage the data? How do you compress it? Whether to fastly load the data, you might need to compress it first and then transfer it, and then decompress and upload. So those kind of things we will discuss. And obviously we need file search and file search. And VI is very necessary here. To I think I extensively use this for configuring Kubernetes manifest files and all, and then checking those files and making changes and Helm releases, all these things. So, and IP tables and basic networking also will touch where understand. Let's say if your application is not reachable, okay, the domain is not working. The pod is up and running, but the domain itself is not working. Let's say google.com is not working. So, to what kind of Linux commands do you need to say, okay, whether it is reachable or not, whether the application is up and running or not? From the networking point of view, we'll try to debug it. For that, we need some commands to learn. So one thing I have done while I was preparing back in my days is, instead of by hearting it for each command, even though you understand the command in the first go, try to execute the command at least 3 to 5 times, and then try to understand it as you are understanding it for the first time. For example, there is a command called Docker images. Okay. Where it is a Docker command where you have to, once you execute the command, you will get list of images that has been present in your local machine. So you have typed Docker images and then you got the output. You can see four Docker images are present in your local machine. And don't stop there. Again, run the command. Clear the screen, run the command, and then check again the output, validate the output again, and then do this 3, 4, 5 times. Till the end of the course, try to do it 5 times. In the first, if you are doing it for the first time, at least execute each command for 3 times. So it would be a muscle memory. You don't have to remember. You don't have to by heart it. You have to learn it from your on lab itself. From practicing. In terminal itself, you have to learn. You don't have to mug up on anything like this. Okay, you try to understand and try to execute again and again. It will build muscle memory. It has served me very well. This is the trick I have used to learn any new practice. Maybe, for example, to attend some certifications as well, we have labs, right? I'll just try to do the same lab again and again for at least 5 times, so that I will be sure, okay, I know everything about this lab and there is nothing, and I'll go to next topic. So I'll master it, whatever questions they might come. What is the expectation? So once I'm very sure on the basics, you can build more. Complex topics on top of it. For example, you will have subcommands in Linux. So we will not go each subcommand. Add this lsfn ltr, lsfn latr, those kind of things we will have. We will cover the basics, and then I in the notes I will give you all the subcommands that is needed. So you don't have to worry about those as well. Just go with my notes and try to listen it. And that's it. Listen the lesson. That's it. On week 2, this is week 1 on Linux. I think this would be enough. On week 2, I'm not sure whether I can cover Docker as well in week 2 as well. I think it itself might take a little time. Let's see whether possibly I have to make sure you have to understand the tool correctly. I mean properly from the scratch, and also you have to maintain this bootcamp schedule as well. So I'll try to I'll try to stretch the class and then see, maybe I can little postpone it to the next class, push it a little class. Those kind of things will happen. But this is the basic idea where how we would be targeting for this course. Okay. So on week 2, Git we will cover Git and Docker. Git is a source code management tool. Where if you are this is absolutely necessary while you're working in DevOps. I think you would be using on day-to-day basis every day. Docker, I'm not sure you would right now you would be directly working with it, but you would need the knowledge on this Docker. Since once you deployed in Kubernetes schedule, if you're working on SRE, I think very rarely you will go on Docker, work on Docker files and Docker images and all those things. I think that is already automated. But you should have this knowledge for SRE. You should understand, what is the difference between containers. Why are we using Docker in the first place? Why not we just use the servers we had earlier, and then we would have a physical storage of any server, and then we'll create a volume out of it, and then we'll divide it, and then do virtualization blocks. So why are we using Docker, and then what is the architecture of it? What are the benefits of it? So we'll discuss all those things, and then once you understand why thing, and then you will understand how it has to be used, how it has to run. What are the commands it has in Docker and in its architecture. That is, we'll go with the Docker introduction first, and then in Git also we will try to understand what are the branching strategies we have, how to navigate GitHub also. I think not sure how many have used GitHub. So at least I will also try to include GitHub is not covered entirely, but you should also have an understanding how to create files in GitHub portal itself instead of pushing Git from your local machine to the remote repository in GitHub. So you learn this in GitHub, sorry, in Git concept, but GitHub also you should learn how to navigate the buttons it has, the options you have in GitHub portal, GitHub platform, and then how to create a PR and those kind of things we'll try to cover that as well. And then we'll commit. We will also cover commit, branch, and merge from Git point of view and from GitHub point of view as well. How we do it from the terminal, and also how we do it with the in GitHub portal as well. Okay, it's not very big topics, so it's very easy. But if you, I think in technology, it's not like it is easy topic or it is a hard topic. I don't think that exists. Okay, either you know this or you don't know this. That is how it is. No tool is difficult. No technology is difficult. Either you know the technology or you don't know the technology. So you just have to know and then learn and then practice, and then you will become one. Okay. So any advanced topics we have, you don't have to worry. Okay, this is difficult or this is easy. There is nothing like that. So this would be what we will be covering in week 2. On week 3, we will cover Docker advanced topics, like for example, Docker build and multi-build stages we have. Okay, and then how to push how to push our Docker image to Docker registry, and then what kind of and we will learn how to create a Docker file. What kind of options we have in Docker file. You will get a lot of interview questions in this, I think, from Docker file point of view as well, where you have many options. We have many parameters, and then you will be asked to compare. Okay, what is the difference between these two parameters and all? So I have asked many times in the interview, and I have heard many times in the interview. So from the interview point of view, people will definitely ask a lot of questions from here, and then you should be knowing it. And I will try to teach all of those in this course. Okay. And then I'll try to, in week 3, my intention is to introduce Kubernetes architecture as well, where I'll just cover an overview of the Kubernetes, some basic components it has in Kubernetes on week 3. Okay. On week 4, I would be covering Kubernetes core objects. These are, if you are seeing the screen, these are the pods. You would be working with these things all the time. I know. So pods, replica sets, deployments, stateful sets, daemon sets, namespaces, how to create one, how to delete one, how to add labels, how to filter labels. What kind of services we have, why, which service has to be used at what use case. So all these things we will try to cover. On week 5, we would be discussing Kubernetes scheduling and storage. Of course, we have to know how the pods are scheduled and which node and which cluster. In cluster, we will have different node pools, different nodes, different kinds of nodes in the same cluster as well. Let's say, I think if you have seen, I think D2, D5 in Azure, those kind of terminologies used for to differentiate different virtual machines. In AWS, we have T2 medium, T2 micro, and T2 large, T2 extra large, extra something like that is there. And then what kind of pod, what kind of workload of the pod has to go in which node, how to schedule in specific node. Some users have, they need graphic card in the node. So they might need extra, they don't want to schedule anywhere. They want to schedule in specific nodes itself. So because the only those node has the feature that accommodates developer applications requirement. So even though we have 15, 20 nodes in the cluster, they are targeting only 2 nodes. How to target it? How we make use of node selector? How we use affinity and anti-affinity? How do we apply taints and tolerations to those nodes so that only required pods are scheduled, not any other pod which is not needed in this node. Like for example, some nodes are running some heavy some sensitive data, maybe they don't want to schedule any other pod. So we will how to apply those how to reject the pod based on the taints and tolerations. We will try to understand that in week 5. And also, we will configure pod resource requests and limits for each application, big or small. Developer might have some idea, okay, my application will need at least this many resources. Like for example, they need my application need 5 CPU and 10 GB of memory. So we'll deploy it with that and then see how it behaves, and then see what are the application pod status. Whether it is you overusing it or maybe underusing it. We don't want our virtual machines to go waste if the pod is requesting a lot of memory and not using that. Okay, we have to not only we have to think in a point of view where the pod is up and running all the time. Okay, but if the pod is taking a lot of storage and not using any of it, that is also a problem from costing point of view, right? So we have to monitor those as well, where you see, okay, you have to, in next topics, we will have Grafana and Prometheus. We will send logs to it, okay? We will see the data, how much CPU it is using, how much it is requesting, and how much it is actually using over the period of time, on the past 3 weeks, a month, or maybe 2 months, how much it is requesting. And is it over requesting it, or underutilizing the resources? Then that is also a problem, right? So we will try to understand from this point of costing point of view as well. And then we have to reduce the resources, and sometimes we have to increase the resources. The pod is failing again and again because it is not having enough resources. So those kind of tasks we will get while we are working. So we have to we will learn those kind of things in this particular week, and how to automate the autoscale in pods with a horizontal pod autoscaler. We would learn those. And of course, storage is very important from pod, where we have a PV, PVC. We will discuss. I will not get into much details now. I think I'm going there. So we can discuss once we are there. Okay. On week 6, we will be covering Kubernetes security and role-based access control, where how pods communicate with each other. How which data point, which endpoints it has to connect, which endpoints it has to reject. What is the range it has to take requests from. So, and also who can access which pod in the team. If we have 10 teams in our company, okay, or not every team has to access the other application. Only if it is required, then we will how to allow them the other team namespace. Okay, what I mean by allowing other team application is we'll deploy each application in different namespaces, right? I will go slow here, maybe. We will deploy each application in different namespaces. So if we want to, how we establish connection from one namespace to another namespace, okay? So those kind of things we will learn in Kubernetes security, and then which role, which person has to access to list my pods, okay? I don't want any other application team to list my pods and then debug it and then see it, and then maybe have access to edit it as well. I don't want that, right? So I have to make sure only my team access it, and then so how to configure those things, we will discuss that. Okay, we have some cluster roles, users and all. And on week 7, we will discussing about networking point of view. So in week 5, we have covered the scheduling and storage. On week 6, security and access control. And week 7, we will covering networking. Okay, from Kubernetes point of view. What is Istio? is how it solves, what are the problems we had, and how we are solving with this particular STO, and what are kind of different deployment strategies we have, blue-green deployment, canary deployment, what kind of deployment strategies is each signifies, why we are using a particular deployment and how we are using it, how it has to use it. We will learn on week 7. Okay. In lab, here I have covered lab and interview focus, or these things. Just to give you an overview, I have put it. But I think if you can, I'm not sure I can show. Let me stop. Share this tab instead. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. 1 second, I'll show you. So you will have an idea. Okay. Sure. Are you able to see my screen now? Where I'm sharing week 1.
Yes, we are able to see.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I will give you. I will try to before the week. I'll try to give you. I will try to fill all the details in the week 1. Okay. So on week 1, if you go here, you can have a lab file, and you have notes file. And this is if there are some files that we need while we are using lab, those kind of files also I'll keep. And I'm also thinking, how to install some packages and all, so how to, so those kind of things also I'll try to add those files here. And then you will have all the data. You just have to learn, you just have to listen while I'm having a session. And then you can just go to the notes here, and then see, okay, this is all the files. This is all what we are discussing. Okay. And then I will show you. So this is a lab I have. So here I will tell you how to create this file structure, create this folder structure in your local machine, and then create specific files, how to rename the file. People who are having some once you cover Linux week, okay, over the week, you have to go through this all these lines. I have tried to put as many tasks as possible to understand each topic. Okay. I'm not giving just a few. Where is this? Here I have just added few just for an idea, okay, from the curriculum point of view. But this is where you that is where you have to go, where I have covered every scenario exhaustively, and then try to cover it over the week. It has a lot of points and lot of tasks in each one, but I hope you can find time over the week, and then you will cover it. Okay. So yeah, you have. I will share that URL as well in the coming weeks. So that is one. And then interview focus as well. This is also some overview. That's it. And maybe I'll try to add the interview. I'll create some file, and I'll give interview questions for each topic you might get. And then if people are going to any interviews in between, who has already attended some interviews, some people are asking, has already went to some interviews. So they might have also questions, right? So they can share those questions as well to me, and then I can add it in this particular file so that everyone can benefit. Okay, so they will have an idea what kind of questions people are asking in the market. Okay, so if the idea is, even though you don't understand, even though you don't answer the question, that is fine, but if it should not go over your head. Okay, you're not even understanding the question, that is not correct. Okay, so you should have an idea. You should understand the question. Okay, if you don't know at that point of time, that is fine. You will come back, I will do your homework again, and then you learn again those topics, and then you do the lab on those topics, and then you go better prepared for the next interview. But the goal is you should be able to understand all the questions. You're not missing anything. So once you are there, and then it's every interview feels like another conversation to have with these technical guys in the interview panel, and then hopefully you will clear it after having a few interviews. Okay, maybe we will target to try to crack the interview with the first attempt as well, but it also depends on the kind of expectations, the kind of tools that they are using. So all those things come into picture. So don't be don't feel this Okay, I'm not able to clear this first round of interview. How can I know for the second one? No, it is DevOps is not like that. DevOps has a lot of moving topics. Every company has a different requirement. You have to give a lot of you have to give interview one by one without you just have to apply aggressively. In the Naukri platforms, you have to think that there are some tips also how to apply it, how to update it also. I will share that by end of this course. And then if you have any doubts on those process, I'm always there to help you. Yeah. So where am I? So I hope you are seeing my curriculum, not other tabs, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Week 7.
Okay. So on week 7, yeah, I discussed this. On week 8, we will, of course, we will once we have learned the Kubernetes. People are not using just manifest files. They are adding another layer called Helm. I will not discuss more. We will discuss once we are discussing this topic. So Helm is absolutely necessary to understand at least. And then there is also another topic called Customize. I have seen teams are using, and it is very easy to understand as well, and it's very clear as well. Customize. I think I'll try to include that tool as well in this along with this Helm, Customize, and GitOps. GitOps is Argo CD. For GitOps, we are using Argo CD tool where we deploy our applications. So this is a CD tool. Okay. On week 9, we will discuss observability. Okay. I think where is this? Sorry. So we will covering topics like here, okay? First Linux, and then Git, and then Kubernetes and all. How to create image, how to create, how to push the image, and how to do multiple build, and how to reduce the storage of the image, and then how to push the Docker, how to create Docker files. All these things we will learn. So I think that is done till Kubernetes DevOps workflow is done. Then we'll go with what is this? SRE point. So here we learn observability and then SRE specific topics. Okay. In observability, of course, like I said, we need we have to monitor all the time, 24/7, and then before some issue before anything breaks, we have to get an alert. There should be a mechanism where we get an alert, and then there should be a mechanism to see the alerts. Okay, to view the alerts properly. So we would be using some tools to understand, to set up this, and then for our Kubernetes clusters, and then we'll see Prometheus architecture. We will try to understand some PromQL basics as well, to see what kind of expressions we need to get some kind of specific logs. Okay, and then how we configure alerts and all. So those kind of things, and how to view those in Grafana dashboards, and how we visualize it. Sorry. So those kind of topics we will discuss in observability. On week 10, we will be discussing core objects, core topics of SRE, where we discuss SLIs, service level indicators, service level objectives, agreements. So we will define for each sample for some sample application. We will discuss what is an error budget. We have what is the capacity planning, like I've said till now. We will discuss that. How do we do that capacity planning, and how do we test our fundamentals? How do we load test? We have to know once we have a cluster up and running. We have to know, let's say if the traffic came, if there is a traffic spike suddenly, we have to. It should not like our platform is struggling. Our clusters are struggling to accommodate that. We have to gracefully accommodate those requests, and then once the spike is gone, a lot of traffic is gone. Now we have come back to the low traffic. Then how gracefully we will clear the resources. How we gracefully have smaller resources now. So those kind of things we should have. We should learn in SRE from the costing point of view. To reduce the resources gracefully, from costing point of view, to how to accommodate the spike from the reliability point of view. Whether it is up or down, we have to learn to accommodate any kind of request, any force in activities. We have to make sure the DevOps is the production is running all the time for in any scenario. So those kind of things that we would be testing in SRE topics. So high availability for their, if some disaster struck for some region, or maybe some outage, network outage, or anything, because, and then how we configure another region. So failover strategies we will do chaos engineering as well, where we will intentionally introduce some errors and then see how it behaves our cluster. So we should learn from there. And resilience testing, all these things we would learn in week 10 SRE. On week 11, AWS Cloud, we would be covering, we would discuss more on this, what cloud and what not. Like Lavanya said, I think it's, we would at least learn what are the alternatives we have in different GCP and Azure, but at least the basics should be clear. As you know, the same basics are there, same topics are there. It's just that with different naming conventions. So in AWS, for example, we would cover compute and networking topics. We EC2 virtual private clouds, EBS, and for storage we would learn some S3 storage, Redis, Postgres, and all on week 11. How to provision it, how to be comfortable with the platform, with the portal, and then how to create one resources, how to delete the resources, to understand the resources. I think theory is also a lot here. First, who doesn't have any cloud background, so that would be included. And then, of course, we'll go the lab as well. I'll tell you to create IAM users, to create some machine, virtual machine, add some firewall requests and all. So I'll try to think of all the scenarios in the lab. And if you are done going through the notes, and then you have done the lab, then I think you would be good to crack the interview, and I think you should feel comfortable in once you finish the course, and then interview ready. So that is how we are separating here, giving all the scenarios here, having support from the institute where at each level where we explain each topic if someone has not understand again and again, and then if someone got issues, so we'll troubleshoot it and then together and see. And then, if you have any, maybe any Docker, interview questions. So those kind of things we will provide from the institute. Okay. On week 12, we will be covering security and containers and Kubernetes, of course. So most of the companies are not deploying on premises. They are deploying their applications in, they're deploying their clusters in cloud platforms. Be AWS or Azure or anything. So we have to learn those, how to create those clusters, and some topics in clusters in Kubernetes clusters in the cloud, and some global services as well, auto scaling, Route 53 in CloudFront. This is different. This is a whole different topic as well. I will be telling the same way I have told in Linux. Linux is also a separate field, and the cloud is also a different separate field. Right? If you cover this, there is a cloud engineering. The role is called cloud engineer role. Okay, if you are get inside every topic, where you have to understand each topic and then try to different parameters and all, how to create these applications, different scenarios. So, but here our goal is to look at the topics from the SRE point of view, not just basics, but also many scenarios, advanced topics, and basic to intermediate and advanced level. So that is I'm trying to look at this point of view from SRE point of view. So yeah, and of course, without troubleshooting, how we have to know this. We would not be called as SRE engineer at all. We always have to debug it. If some pod is failing for any reason, because of crash loop backoff, maybe image pull backoff, maybe the node is not ready. What are the real-time production scenarios we have? So I'll try to include all scenarios that I have faced over my career, or maybe I can take help from Lavanya as well. Maybe she can add more troubleshooting scenarios as well. From her side, she's more experienced than me. So as a team, we can help you on this. And week 14, I have just it's just a buffer for question and answers. So yeah, any doubts? Any questions now? I will am I fast? If I am fast, I will work on my pace definitely. That is an acceptable feedback. I tend to speak a little fast, but yeah. So
Sorry to interrupt. I had a question.
mhm.
I don't know if I might have missed it or not. I did not see anything related to infrastructure as cloud. Are we going to uh, learn that part as well? Like when we say we are going to create cloud infrastructure in AWS, uh, are we creating that using IAC tools, or it is just going to be through the GUI directly?
For this course, no. I think there is a separate bootcamp for IAC and all. And
Okay.
then Terraform is also a separate course. We'll see whether we can touch some basics. I'll try to. We'll see that.
Okay. Thank you.
Hari?
Yeah. So is it possible to add a Dynatrace monitoring tool?
Sorry?
Dynatrace.
Okay. We'll see. I think right now I have put only these tools that I've shown you in the course. On the tool side, I'll take your suggestions, and then based on I will discuss, and then we'll see what the tools has to be there in the course. Yeah, but this would be the course we have designed. If any tools are there, yeah, we'll think about it, and we'll try to accommodate. Any other questions? Sanam has asked a current market opportunity and competition for DevOps. So this varies actually how you. I think when compared to other roles, DevOps is definitely demanding. We have the salary structure is good. And SRE, you can demand, if you're good in SRE, you can demand a lot of salaries for this. But you should be really good in DevOps, and then you should have real-time scenarios. You should be working. You should be working on this DevOps for a long time, and then SRE and so. So if you're directly targeting SRE, that is you have to be. You should learn all these topics very well. But to give you some figure, I think 15 LPA for 5 to 6 years of experience is at least is what I think.
Okay. Actually, I have a production deployment experience in Linux and middleware technologies, including the CI/CD pipelines, but not a proper DevOps and SRE. And I have 4 years of experience on this field. I'm using the Oracle WebLogic, WebSphere, and JBoss middleware technologies for deploying application and production environment in banking domain. So I want to switch on the SRE role and DevOps role. So tell me about how can I do this?
Yes, you can. That is how I have designed this course, where you can from any even if you are don't have any experience at all, also you can be good at this once you learn this course and then be good at it. You should be able to switch seamlessly, or maybe you can have this job as you can go with confident. Okay, that is how I designed this course. I think you should be able to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
To continue to
Hello.
explain, yes.
Yeah, so as per a shown in PPT, we are learning each DevOps tools and topics individually, but we are not getting a chance to use everything together in a single real-time project. So can we have to end-to-end project where we use all the tools we learned, just like
Absolutely.
a real
Absolutely.
company?
Absolutely. I think without that, I think you will not be confident enough.
Yeah, actually.
You would not connect the dots how these tools are collaborate with each other, how your skill set is in coming to picture in real time. You have to have some sample projects. I will over the duration of the course, I will add it some sample projects. where I will give you some scenarios and then you have to solve it, and then I'll also give the solution as well, how to fix fix this scenario. So create this scenario. So yeah, that is there.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Is the classes going to happen every day or only on weekend?
It's on weekends, Saturday, Sunday, this time, 11 to 12:30 or 1, maybe more or less. Yeah, on Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. Weekends. Any other questions?
Yeah, Tanvir.
Yes, Karan.
Yeah. So you were saying something to Sanam about the experience and all those things. So you are. So my question to you is, if someone is moving from a different background, be that from a networking background where I'm coming from, so how would that help me to scale up to the salary and the work experience, given the scenario where I don't have the experience into DevOps or SRE role? So how would I be able to hold on to the profile or get an interview call for that, and the projects with the work experience in SRE role?
Yes, I think like we have seen, everyone is coming from different backgrounds and then different expertise. So it has to go by case. We will connect and then I'll tell you would be the scenario for you, and then yeah, I can connect on this.
Okay, and when you say connect, so like initially we'll start planning it out, or it's post some topics. So if you can let me know, then I can be rest assured and get back at a later point.
I didn't get your question. Sorry, Kiran.
Now you said we're gonna plan one-to-one, case to case, as you
Not,
mentioned.
not like that. Because what I'm saying is, we can have some. I'm not sure whether there is a common chat or maybe in the class itself. Once the questions are asked, for each scenario, for everyone, there is a different background, right? We have to assess it. So yeah, like I was saying, I would be saying again and again the same thing, right? But from generic point of view, but to really give you tailored answer, I have to understand, how many years of experience you have, what kind of tools you have worked, so what is the background, all those things will come into picture, and then we'll discuss on this on maybe a chat, maybe somewhere, or maybe like this. But otherwise, if this is generic, right? That is, everyone from different backgrounds, whether it is networking background, someone said Linux background, and maybe someone is switching their job role. So everyone can able to crack, should be able to crack DevOps or SRE roles. That is my intention. That is how the course has been articulated and all. So yeah, that is.
So that for that only, if you say that, okay, we're gonna plan that now or during the middle of the course.
During the course.
During
First,
the course. Okay.
I know. We would like to have the end details, like for example, maybe once I complete my course, you are investing 3.5 months of time, and then you should have some idea, right? Okay, once I done this, I have put lot of hard work. I have done this, and then what is exactly I'm getting out of it. So I think that should be catered soon. After first week, maybe you can post all your questions in and I'll go try to finish this up. Clear the expectations. What you would be once the course is ready. At what level you would be, and what kind you can expect. So that is really important, and we'll connect on one-to-one basis and then discuss.
Okay, that will be over the the Google Meet, or how is it? How are you planning?
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
The presentation.
Just,
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
to,
thanks so much for your time.
hi Kiran, I'm Lavanya here. So just want to tell you how it went for the last courses. So we did another, 2 more boot camps before this. So I'll tell you how it works. So basically, we try to cover and address the questions by the session itself. So we give ample amount of time for the questions and we stretch there and then we try to take it there. But if not, we might have a group where you can post your questions there. So some of it can be answered there, or we can get it answered before the next session starts. So that's how it went. So it was helpful. So I think we should do the same even for this. Otherwise, if we have to go for one-to-one, I don't think we'll have enough time. I see we would have a number of people. They will definitely encourage to have one-to-one session, which will not be helpful. And considering the effort from the instructor, I think that would be too much. So what we can do, we can cover the questions in the session. If not, you can raise your questions in the group. We should try to address it before the next session starts. So we give 15 minutes of time before the next session so that any questions from the last class or anything else, you can raise it there and then we should answer it before going to the session itself. So before the session starts, we'll have a Q&A session, and then after the session also, we would give we could have 15 minutes of time to address based on the today's session's questions. So that's how it went, and then it worked well. That's what I feel. If needed, we can also change our plan. Let's see. But for now, yeah, this is how it was.
Okay, no problem. Something which is tested is working, that's fine. Okay, Lavanya, thanks for your time as well and the guidance there.
What are the remote jobs in DevOps? If you target, if I want to target the remote jobs, so what is the remote jobs are looking?
Remote jobs, that is, I think, circumstances and luck. I think it's company to company based, right? I'm not sure we will have a lot of remote jobs, but yes.
It's also based. Sorry to.
It's Lavanya.
So it's also based on the location where you're posted and the companies where they're looking for. Yeah, we can't tell you it's based on the remote job or I'm not sure about the opportunities. But to answer some of your questions, I see some of you have raised a very good question in the chat. So I'd like to address them. So most of it is related to the market opportunities and the competition and CTC aspects of SRE. So SRE, I would say that it is, I don't think you
Hello, I'm audible. I just lost my power connection.
Yes, you are audible, Tanvir. Yeah. So in terms of CTC, I hope you wouldn't have joined this course at all if the SRE is not in the high market space. So I think we would address the market strategies and then CTC aspects. So I don't think there is any blocker there. So wherever you are, so you should be getting a best CTC. That's what I see for the SRE. So, but all that you'll have to do is you have to convince, like you have an experience in SRE at least 1 or 2 years. So that's what you are aiming, I believe. So everyone want to do a career shift. So that's the intent, I assume. And for that, you need to convince that you have an experience of 1 or 2 years from whichever background you have. So with that, if you could convince it, and then definitely your CTC would boost up from where you are. So that's the expectation, right? So that should be addressed by the end of the course. All that you'll have to do is you'll have to continue putting your effort every weekend. Try to join the live session rather than going through the recording.
Okay, thank you.
So for those of you who misses the class, I think we'll have a recorded session as well. It can be shared just after the class ends. So Shubham will take care of it. So you should have a recording by the end of the course.
Any questions? Okay, I think maybe we are good. Shubham, are you there?
If I think then we can drop off for the day, and then we can connect from the next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye,
Thank
team.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, team.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, team.
Thank you.